Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. So, wow, kind of breaking news. Pakistan has started airstrikes within Iran. Now, these are tensions that have been building for a while, and it's a more and more common excuse going around the world that, oh, we're striking insurgent camps behind your territorial lines. Yeah, stop me if you've heard that one before. Here's where things get worrisome for me and revealing. First of all, Pakistan is one of the nuclear armed nations. And I was looking at their beef with India for the past few years. You see, back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, when Pakistan was building its nuclear arsenal and getting ready to deploy it, the architect of their nuclear program said he would be happy to offer any other Muslim nation the same technology. If you recall, Iran is on the axis of evil list because it is believed Iran has nuclear weapons. This strike pretty much confirms they don't have them because Pakistan is not stupid. They're fully intelligent human beings who aren't going to start a border war with somebody who can strike back. And Iran is definitely going to defend its territory, even if they don't like the insurgents. They're going to make sure that Pakistan doesn't feel like they can come across the border anytime and do what they like. So this puts a big hole in the theory that Iran was able to develop nuclear weapons. Now, I still hold to my old opinion that Iran has not developed air mobile nuclear weapons, such as the United States, Russia, China, most of the other nations have, where they can put it on a plane and drop it somewhere. My theory has always been Iran wanted to be able to put, let's call them small to medium nuclear warheads in the Red Sea and be able to shut it off with the click of a button by those nuclear warheads exploding. I think that was a strategic vision for Iran, and you don't need air mobile nuclear weapons to do that. You can pretty much do it with the design they used in World War II, the little boy design. Pretty rudimentary. Refining uranium, they have nuclear reactors, so such a thing would be within their technological reach. But then they wouldn't need to worry about building a heavy bomber or ICBMs or any of those crazy things. Now, the other interesting possibility, what if Pakistan was wrong and Iran does have nuclear weapons? This has precedent in the world before. South Africa had nuclear weapons for years and didn't tell anybody. It's long been rumored Israel has nuclear weapons. They've never officially confirmed it. There's a few other nations here and there, like North Korea, which seems to have the technology. And they're they're adopting the same stance as Israel, basically, so that people leave them alone and don't put sanctions against them. But Iran, again, Iran are no dummies. It's really hard to find a nation of truly stupid people because there's always intelligent people there, and the government always has secret weapons programs it's developing. Whether it's a simple fighter jet or whether it's some sort of neutron bomb that goes against treaties. But Pakistan versus Iran is really the first time in history a nuclear armed nation has committed an act of war against another nuclear armed nation, or at least one that supposedly has nuclear weapons. I'm not really sure how this one's going to play out. It doesn't seem like Pakistan had permission to go into Iranian airspace, but you never know. It's one of those complicated things where You might not want to let anybody know you gave them permission when it was a wink or a nod because you know the guy next door is secretly working for the insurgents, or your supply lines and communications are all potentially in the hands and tapped of foreign powers or even domestic. I don't want to call them terrorists, but domestic dissidents. It's going to be interesting how this plays out, and I keep saying that because this is unprecedented in history. The United States, the USSR, Russia, and China have all pussyfooted around with each other a little bit. The whole Taiwan thing and Russia threatening to go into Poland, which is a member of NATO. But it's threats. You know, threats are a part of any game. In chess, you bluff. In anything possible, you bluff because you have no intention of getting involved in the conflict. But you're still going to move your bombers towards former bases. You're still going to put your hand on one chess piece as if you're thinking about a move. When somebody says anything else, you're going to hold that card in your hand and flick it as if you're thinking about it. Everybody does it, including diplomats. But actual airstrikes? Pakistan's armed capacity is interesting. They have a lot of technical levels going on at the same time. Because, again, they're smart. They can't necessarily afford the newest and the greatest, and most of their allies are not willing to give them the newest and the best. But they get what they have and they take care of that stuff. They're one of the nations that sells it on to much poorer nations like the Bahamas or places like that want to have a few fighters and tanks in their arsenal but can't afford a brand new M1 Abrams or an F-35. A lot of things have passed through their hands. If you ever go to Fighter Town, South Africa, which is where they keep a lot of the older planes updated and in flying condition, they have a lot of airplanes that went through the Pakistani Air Force at one point or another. Iran has been more in the Soviet sector, but Russian equipment is nothing to sneeze at. The Ukrainians are certainly having a hard enough job with it, and even though they're trying to make everything look cool, yeah, we know the reality is it's hard to kill that many tanks and that many weapons. Ukraine is just playing at the top of their game. But Pakistan versus Iran, that's going to be interesting. Pakistan has more friends than Iran does at the moment, but Russia's kind of looking for somebody to cheer on, and Pakistan is technically in the Western camp, while they're also allied with China. Yeah, I've never understood it either. Couple airstrikes. Like I said, I'm hoping this is one of those secret diplomacy things that was supposedly outlawed from international law over 100 years ago. But as everything else in the League of Nations, it fails. Secret diplomacy happens all the time. Hopefully, Tehran issues a sternly worded letter of warning and delivers it to the embassy, says, no, 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 don't do that again. Because, what's done is done. You can't go back in time and prevent them from going over the border. But what happens over the next few days is what will tell us the real situation. Are these so-called insurgents and terrorists going to strike Pakistan again? Because the pressure will be on Pakistan at that point to respond in kind. Is Iran funding these people, or did they just find a neat little place to hide, and that's why Pakistan decided to take them out while they were there? There's so many questions that we didn't need being answered. But the nuclear question is the number one question. Would the United States tolerate Mexico destroying some Proud Boy encampments because they're right-wing extremists and Mexico, didn't like what they were saying about Mexicans? Probably not. Would Russia appreciate Poland going across and destroying whatever they have as far as training camps go? Probably not. And like I said, this is an unprecedented event in history. We just have to hope that in the end, the idea of peace overcomes all. And we hope Pakistan is able to make a darn good case that they were able to commit this strike, have no civilian casualties, and most importantly, they were justified in doing so. Because otherwise, the United Nations is going to have a field day with them. Like I said, it comes down to the fact Pakistan has more allies, but unfortunately, that doesn't mean that they can bring those allies to bear, especially on a sensitive issue like this. So, we're in the fog of war at the moment. Rumors of war, as the old prophecy states. And we're just going to have to muddle our way out of this as a species, because right now, not much else we can do. With that, well, I usually say I hope you enjoyed today's Silverlight show, but talking about people being killed in possible nuclear war is not really enjoyable. So we hope you listened to today with satisfaction. If you did, please like. And that sounds ridiculous. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Share this in case there's somebody out there who hasn't heard of this airstrike. Click the bell icon so that way you can be notified every time the Silverlight Show has a new episode. And we hope you have a fantastic